All right, we've all been there where we're trying to find the perfect backpack and you're watching all the videos online, but you never really get a good look at what the inside of the bag looks like, what all the pockets are, and you're always trying to find what is the right bag for me. So I've got 3 bags I've been testing over the last year. As I've been getting into scope carbine, long range, some bolt gun stuff, as I've been getting into that, I've been testing out more and more bags to try to see what suits my needs and then what's going to help us in the things that we have coming up. Some of you may know Taylor and I are going to start shooting Integral Hunter together, so trying to find a bag for that, trying to find a bag for our scope carbine matches. So we've been testing a few. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of 3 bags from Everlystock, 3 that we thought we would like, and I'm going to tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, show you the inside and out, and then at the end I'll show you how I pack mine. Now, these bags may not suit your needs, and that's okay. You may not even like any bags from this brand. That's also okay. But my hope is that you'll look at some of the things, see where some of these bags fell short for us, see where they did well for us, and maybe that'll help you when you're looking for your own bag, whatever brand, whatever style that is. And then also see how we carry stuff, what we carry in there, may make you reevaluate how you're carrying stuff in your bag or that you may be carrying in the future. Now, before we dive into the bags, I do have to give a quick disclaimer. All 3 of these bags were sent by Everlystock for us to test and to evaluate, to look at. So take it all with a grain of salt. They don't have a say in what I say in this video. They don't really care about, you know, hey, you have to say certain things. More so, they just want to get information out there about the bags, but they were sent to us for free, so I need to let you guys know that. The 3 bags we tested are all very different sizes because we wanted to see what size worked best for our use case. Again, what we're doing is very different from what you're doing, so the size you need may be different. This is just give you an idea of the size of bags, but also what the insides look like, where their shortcomings were, and where they did well. So to start off with, we have their Bandit bag, and this bag, they classify as an EDC bag, which it very much is that. It's an excellent EDC bag. I think that if you're using this to store extra mags in, or to store a micro rig, or just everyday items like a puff jacket, if the weather changes, maybe some snacks, whatever, you're taking it to work with you, if you're one of those people that carries a rifle with you, preparing for civil unrest or being a Minuteman, this is a great bag for that because it's lightweight, doesn't weigh you down, isn't cumbersome to get around. Great bag for that. Up top, we do have an admin pouch. Now, inside of that admin pouch, you've got a zippered pocket, you've got this flap here, and then you have a spot to hang your keys. So again, that's very useful as an EDC bag. In the front, we have the little kangaroo pouch where we can undo it. Typically, I'll use this to put a helmet, or I can throw a jacket there, like a rain jacket if I need to get to it quickly, I just put it there, or a med kit. So if we're on range and I throw the bag down, put the med kit there so people can access it very quickly. You do have your 2 water bottle holders on either side. I will use it as a tripod holder, so I'll put a tripod on one side. And then here, I wish the bag, this is one of the things I wish it had. I wish it had dedicated straps for the tripod that weren't associated with the kangaroo strap. Because there's times where I may want to get the tripod out without having to undo that. So having its own straps would be ideal. I just did some bungee cord. I tie these 2 together, pull them tight, and that's what I hold the tripod in there with. Now, it doesn't hold it very well. The weight kind of moves around, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So typically, the way I use this for range stuff is I put the most needed items at the top, so the things I need access to very quickly, and then I'll rip it open. You don't have to rip it open all the way, but if I need to just open to here, I can get, whether it's extra mags, whether it's a sandbag, whatever, that usually lives right here. And then the things that I don't use as often live down at the bottom. So whether that's like a toolkit, you know, an extra rain jacket, extra layers, all that will live down here. So inside, you do have these pockets. You do have a big pocket here, and I will put a cleaning kit, an extra VCG, a oven mitt for the suppressors, throw that there. Then I do a few admin items here. So like chem lights, a flashlight, multi-tool can all be right there again so I can get to them quickly. And then you can use this part for hook and loop. So I'll usually put some IR lights right here just so I can light up the bag so I can see what's inside, but also so I can mark it. Just take one of those out, throw it on top of the bag, and it marks it so that way if we're doing night vision stuff, if we're training or on range and I throw the bag somewhere, I don't forget it, I don't lose it because it's going to be sitting there either strobing or just constant on. On this side, I typically throw my mub in there and then like an extra bag. I have a little skinny sandbag. Those 2 will go in here. The mub is just a plate that goes in the tripod. You'll see it in a minute. And then, yeah, you can use this however you see fit, but I do like that it opens up like this because you can access everything very quickly. You just rip it open, grab what you need, close everything back up. So the shortcomings are, I do wish that it had those straps for the tripod, right? It has the option for a waist strap, but I wish it came with it because even though it's a small bag, I mean, most people won't use it to hold anything heavy. I do. And even though it's small, you know, sandbags are small, but they're heavy. Things like that, if you're carrying a lot of ammo, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but it's heavy. So having that waist strap would benefit a lot. And it doesn't have a frame, which again, it's an EDC bag, but a frame would make it easier to carry a tripod. The tripod on there kind of bounces around. It just doesn't sit on there very well. But excellent, excellent EDC bag. So I will be using this for a different purpose than what we originally had in mind. Like I said, it'll probably be something like an EDC bag or like a prepared bag or whatever you want to call it. Moving on to the Esstac X2. Now this one's slightly larger in size, and honestly, I felt like this was going to be the bag that we love the most. Now Taylor loves his, absolutely loves it. He has an older version of this. He loves it. I don't love it so much, and I'll tell you why. So we do have the admin pocket up here. Now this one doesn't have the internal organization that the Bandit did, and then you have a smaller admin pocket here. Again, small items, you can throw whatever there. In the front, we do have the kangaroo pouch, so again, I can carry helmet there if I need to. We undo these buckles, and it opens up your top, right? So lay it flat again, and then you have buckles that go across. So on either side, you have these big pockets. Now these I think are for bladders or whatever, but what I typically did was I would put extra bags in here. So any sandbags, any items that we needed to be on one side. The other side would be my tool pouch, extra batteries, and then a few smaller like admin items I don't need to access very quickly. You undo the cross buckles, and then you'll reveal inside these two slots here and here. Now, inside of these, what I would typically put is on one side I put a tripod, and on the other side, just any other miscellaneous stuff, I just stuff it down in there. And that did well. And because it has a frame, it does really well to hold the tripod, to hold everything that I needed. It has a built-in waistband, which some of you may like, some of you might not like, because some people want to be able to remove that. But it did well to hold the weight. Everything that we carried in it, it held very well. It stood up very well because of the frame, held the tripods well. So it checked off those boxes. And it was big enough to carry everything that we needed. So you have this big inner pouch here. You'd have a small admin pocket here. But the downside, and this is where I found the shortcoming of this bag, the thing that I liked about the Bandit was that I could rip that thing open, access everything at once, grab what I needed, close it back up. I can't do that with this. So I'd have to reach all the way into the bottom, try to get what I need out of there. Need that out of there. Try to get what I need out of the bottom, but I had to pull everything out. I got to undo all these buckles just to get to that, whatever's in the bottom. So it wasn't as efficient to me when I need to get to things quickly, especially when we're setting up for a range day or a training day or we're at a match. This didn't work out very well. The other thing is you don't have the adjustable height on this one. So it's on the Bandit, and on the next bag you'll see you do have an adjustable height for your straps. On this one you don't. It does have the frame built in, and it does cool, and it is very comfortable. So it's a great bag. I think it's a great hunting bag. It's great for a lot of people, just not great for me. And with that said, I want to give it away to one of you, because I don't like having stuff that I don't use. It's just going to sit in a closet when one of you could be using it. So we're going to give it away. So in the comments down below, if you think this bag will be useful for you, if you need it, leave it down below why you think you deserve it, why you could use it. And I'll pick one of you lucky guys or gals to take this home. We'll ship it out to you. So thanks to Esstac for that. Moving on to the big boy. So this is the G2 Gunslinger from Esstac. Now this is a massive bag, and when I say massive, it is massive. I could probably fit inside of this bag if I wanted to. So this bag does come with a built-in scabbard. I don't use the scabbard. You might. Maybe I'll use it with the bolt gun when we're in some places like Wyoming or whatever for matches. But currently I don't use it. I use it for other things. I just stuff stuff down in there. I can use it for an extra tripod or folders or whatever, just easy access. Don't typically use it for the scabbard for what it's designed for. But this is a big bag. It is a heavy bag. So what do I like about this bag? Well, it's essentially a bigger version of the Bandit with a frame. It does everything that I liked about the Bandit, but it carries more of my stuff, and it carries it better because of the frame. We do have the admin pocket here. Now, what do I keep in here? Because this is the bag that I'm actually using. What are we using here? So notebook, I use this, matches, keep notes. I've got pins, extra Sharpies and dry erase in there. I've got an eyeglass cleaning kit, also works well on scopes. I've got my wrist coach in there. So this is from Sun and Shadow. So a few of you have asked about that. Sun and Shadow, check them out. That's typically what lives in there. And then I will just dump my keys or whatever else in there that I'm not using. Small admin pouch here. So this is for stuff like my chamber flag, because some matches require it. Little Sharpie holder from Barrel and Hatchet. Shout out to those guys. So just like the Bandit, I like that you can lay it flat. If I need to, I can sit on top of the bag. If I'm in a shooting position where I need to sit on top of it. We do have the tripod on the side. So this bag holds the tripod a lot better than the Bandit did. And it's easier to access than getting into it in the X2. So one little hack here with tripod, if you take a 4-inch rubber pipe coupling and you put it inside of there, it holds the tripod better. And the other thing I will say is when you're putting the tripod in, I know a lot of guys go feet first. I always go head first because this tends to be the heaviest part of the tripod. So if it's going to swing around, this is going to swing and hit yourself or hit something. And if you're getting in and out of a car, you don't want to shatter your window. So I put it in there and then clip it in. So that's the really right stuff, stays in there. So you have 2 access points to the big pocket. If you just need to dump something in there, you have the bungee, you can throw it in there, grab whatever you need out very quickly. But like the Bandit, you can rip the whole thing open. You do have some MOLLE slots here where you can put stuff. So here's what I've got inside. I'm going to show you what organization the bag has on the inside, but also what I keep in here. So typically, again, the things on top are the things that I need access to the fastest, or things I need access to most often. So these are just some shoot and sees. So I throw these on there. So when we go out, I just do a quick zero. Every time we go to shoot, I check zero just to make sure it's on. Otherwise, you're chasing it all day. Shot timer. So Kestrel shot timer. I use this for dry fire and for live fire because it gives us a measurable metric. And then I have my sandbag on top again. So if I'm on top and I need to grab the sandbag, very quick to access. So use my pint-sized game changer in there. And then I've got a bag for ammo. So these are small mags, and then I've got, if we're doing some up-close stuff or whatever, we need 30-round mags, I've got those in there as well. Toolkit, so in here I have my fix-it sticks and a few other small tools. These are all specific to the stuff that I carry. I don't carry any tools that I don't need, and I make sure I have tools for everything that I do need. So that lives in there, and then I have my Mark IV spotting scope. If there's anything that's going to come out of this bag that I don't necessarily need all the time, it's this. And the reason for that is because I can get by with my binos. So my binos on my chest rig, if you guys saw that video, those binos go with me every range day. So I don't always need these, but if we're collecting data, if we're looking at groups at 100, if we need just more magnification to save us time to be able to see what's going on with the targets, the Mark IV is my go-to for that, so love that. I'll do a whole video on spotting scopes. I've got a couple that I use. And then at the very bottom, I do keep a poncho. This is a prototype poncho from Mantle. If you guys are interested in this, let me know in the comments, and also go tell Will at Mantle that you want this poncho, because this thing is awesome. Anyways, so inside, like the Bandit, you do have some area where you can use some hook and loop. So in here I have some patches. And again, I was telling you guys I keep lights in here to light the bag up. So I've got lights on either side. So I can light the bag up, or I can take them out, mark the bag so I can find it. So on the side, you've got a big pocket, just like on the Bandit. So in here, this is a cleaning kit. So this has my cleaning rods and a few other little items like brushes, swabs, things like that. Extra BCG. Those are both Magpul DACA pouches, so I keep an extra BCG. When it comes to gas guns, most problems can be solved by swapping out a BCG, because you're usually going to have gas rings fail, you're going to have a cam pin break, or something like that. That's typically where most issues comes with your BCG, that I found. So, what else I have in here? So this is the cleaning kit I was talking about earlier. So just a bottle of hops, a bottle of lube, a couple of towels, clean my guns in the hotel like everybody else, and then an oven mitt. Down here, you do have two small pockets. So this is a Kestrel monitor. So I use this mainly on the bolt gun, but it just gives you your dope. You can see it right there, right next to you. So it's digital, connects to your Kestrel, so you have live updated data. Down here, come on. So this is all extra batteries. So I keep extra batteries for all the electronics we use. Keep that stored in there in this Theorem cell vault. Works great. Get you one of those. It's saves you a lot of headache. Another pocket on this side, but I don't really keep anything in there. And then the reason for that is because the tripod is here, right? So the tripod pushes in on the bag. So anything you put here is going to get pushed in by that. Okay, so you have two larger pouches here. Again, designed for something different, but how I use it is I have a rail-mounted sandbag there from Armageddon Gear. So that goes in that slot. And then on this side, this is extra stuff that doesn't fit in my chest rig, or I don't always have in my chest rig. This goes on the tripod, so it's my little wind meter, so I can see what the wind's doing. But in here, extra little things like lockpick kit, breaching bar, saw, things like that I don't always need on my chest rig. I throw it in here and it stays in there. So if something were to really happen and I really needed it, I just reach in there and pull it out, put it on my chest rig. So that's it. That is the inside of the Gunslinger 2. Now on this side, I do keep just a random, this is from QVO Tactical, and I like that I can throw this on literally any belt. But I use this as a mag carrier so that if I do need that mag reload, if we're at a match or something, that's why I have that there. Let me show you the other side of the pouch, or the bag. So again, we do have the waist strap. I believe this one is removable, so if you wanted to take it off, you could. I like it because it helps carry the weight, because all that stuff in there gets heavy, especially with a tripod. And then you do have the adjustable height, right? So for somebody like me who's a little bit shorter, I can move the height down so that it fits me better. If you're taller and you need a little more space, you can move it up higher, just to help carry and distribute the weight properly so that you're not fighting against the bag as you're carrying it up and down hills or mountains or whatever it is that you're doing. It does have side handles, which I do like because it makes it easier to pick up when we're, at the hotel, when we're getting in and out of cars, whatever you're doing, just having that extra place to grab it because the bag is heavy makes it nice. The scabbard, again, is stowed away in here. It folds up, stows away there. It comes with a top that goes over this. You can actually cover the rifle. But again, I don't use it for that, so I don't carry that around. But that is the G2 Gunslinger. Currently my favorite bag, probably a little bit too big for what I'm doing. I think if there was a version of this without the scabbard, like basically same design, no scabbard, and slightly shorter, about the size of the X2, that would be my perfect bag. I think that would be perfectly ideal for scope carbine and for most people with the frame and everything. So maybe Everly will see this. Maybe they'll make that one day. I don't know. But I do love that bag. It's worked out great. Again, probably overkill for what I'm doing, probably too big for what I'm doing. But I want to share with you some of the things that I learned in this process of testing these 3 bags, things that I liked, things that I didn't like. Before I get into what I've learned in this process of testing the bags, I do want to make one quick note about what I have and what I keep in that bag. As you watch that, don't feel like you've got to carry those things, and don't feel like my setup needs to be your setup, because what I'm doing is completely different than what you're doing. And some of the gear that I carry for like scope carbine for matches and stuff like that, like people are like, oh, do I need this bag? Do I need that bag? Do I need this thing or that thing? Dude, go to a match, try out other people's gear. The long range community has been very welcoming and welcomed us with open arms. And anytime we've gone to a match, most matches, they will let you test their gear. You can look through other people's spotting scopes, through people's binos, through people's actual scopes. You can test out their bags. You can test out their bipods. They're more than happy to share with you, and like they'll give you advice, give you tips, tell you what worked, what didn't. That's your best way to figure out what works for you. Take that information, figure out, oh yeah, this works for me. Oh no, this doesn't work for me. And then buy based off of that. Don't just watch my video or somebody else's video and go, oh, well, they had this in their bag and I need that. No, you may not need that, right? It's all dependent on your goal and your context, right? So take it all with a grain of salt of what I keep in my bag. Now, with that said, here's the things that I've learned about the bags in testing them over this past year and what I think maybe you should be looking for. So number one is comfort. How comfortable is the bag for you? And I know people say, oh, it doesn't need to be comfortable. Well, it does. If you're carrying it around all day, if you're carrying from stage to stage, if the bag is uncomfortable, eventually you're going to leave it in the car, or you're not going to want to take it out. And you've just wasted all that money, and all that gear that you would have had stored with you is now sitting in that bag somewhere, which when you need it, it's not going to be there. So it's very important to find a bag that's comfortable, that's able to carry the weight and still be comfortable on you. If it's comfortable empty and then you start putting weight in, it starts to dig in, it's a complete waste. Ditch that bag. Don't even use it anymore. Adjustability for height. So as somebody who is CQB optimized, having a bag that adjusts to my height fits me better than having a bag that fits somebody like Bruiser. Bruiser's what, 6'3", 6'4", whatever. A bag that fits him is going to fit me different. So making sure that a bag can adjust to you, whether that's your waistband or your height, it's going to be really important. And having that frame in there does help. It helps a ton. I know it adds weight to the bag, but the structure that it adds and the ability to distribute the weight is going to help you down the road, especially if you're carrying things like sandbags and spotting scopes. The next thing that I would ask is, can you carry a tripod with it? If you're somebody who has a tripod and you want to carry it with you, does that bag allow you to do that? Now, it may not carry it the same way that I do in my bags. There may be a different way their bags carry it, but if it allows you to do that and it's something you need to do, that's a win. Otherwise, trying to find a way to rig that thing up is going to be a pain in the butt, especially if some guys have it on their shoulders, like swings around, hit them in the head, or like around their waist, trying to get through like a little like narrow walkway in the woods or something, and it gets snagged on everything. It's a pain. So make sure you find a bag that carries what you need the way you need it to, especially if you're carrying something like tripods. Can you access everything in it quickly? So like I talked about with the X2, for me, the things that I needed, the way I carried them, I couldn't access them as quickly as I needed. You may not need to access those things in that middle pouch like I did. So you decide for yourself, but determine the things you need to access quickly and make sure that bag allows you to get to them in a timely manner, because should you need them, you need to get to them fast. The last thing I would say is organization is a bonus, but it's not a must. A lot of bags that I've seen on the market from other brands and even Everly have these different ways to organize everything, and people run out and they start grabbing all these things to like, oh, I got to organize this here and this there. And you want to like make the Tetris puzzle work. But that's a nice option, but it's not a must have, because I think everything else we talked about first is most important, because what you carry in that bag is always going to change. So having it set up and dedicated to one setup isn't always going to be the case. So take your time, be patient with it, make sure you have it set up the way you need to have it set up. Organization is optional, and it's a nice to have, but not a must have. You can organize things in different ways, like I did with the DACA pouch and some other small pouches in there. So hopefully that helps you in your journey as you're looking at bags. Maybe you buy one of these, cool. Maybe you buy some other brand, cool. But maybe it saves you some money from buying something you don't need. So appreciate you guys. Thank you for following along. Make sure to like, subscribe, crunch up that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video, and I will see you in the next one. All right, are we still rolling? We are still rolling. We're doing great. We're doing so good.